This is the Kate Daly Show.
All right, back here with you on the Kate Daly Show. I know I'm losing my voice. I apologize. I am so glad that you're tuned in. Please text Birch Gold 989898 is the phone number, and you just text that number. Not it's 6 digits, and they repeat. So 989898, and then just text my name, Kate. You're going to get some wonderful information from Birch Gold. It actually just updated. You're going to want this. Put in my name, Kate, and they're going to send that back to you free. Peruse that information and prepare for what's coming in digital tyranny, please. My gosh, they're going to always do it with major distractions too. So that's usually how they operate. So just do what you can right now to prepare. All right, I have Kent Singleton, whose property is under attack by the state of Utah, and with using eminent domain. I have Randy Parker, who's former USDA on the board with Trump, who has sat in on many of these cases and using these navigable waterways as their hook into it. And then, of course, Chelsea Hope will join us as well, talking about the UN too and how they're playing a part in this as well. Land grabs everywhere. And if we've been talking about the hurricane coverage, of course, with Hurricane Milton coming in 2 days. Or tomorrow night. So I know that this is on people's minds, land grab, and this is just another vehicle. Kent, was there anything in the paperwork that would have alarmed you to what they're doing to you in basically illegally declaring your property something that could be used for recreation, which is not legal at all? Was there anything in the paperwork?
No, what it is that you have your property deeds, right? And your deeds are very clear in nature.
Okay.
It is that the deeds had reflected that there was nothing like that. I had access to the frontage road I've actually have two tax ID numbers, and I have access to that frontage road. So we checked that out very thoroughly before we actually purchased the property.
And you had a team of people go through it.
Team of 5 people.
Yeah. Okay. So you were certain, and here's the big thing for people to understand is that does your state, if you own property, does your state have the ability to do this for recreational purposes? Now they want to bring in a freeway access. They're really good at stealing property for that. I still call it stealing. But legally, but they can't legally do this, right, Randy? They cannot legally do this in my state of Utah for this purpose.
That's exactly right. Utah state law says explicitly that the use of condemnation or eminent domain cannot be used for recreational purposes, and that has been on the books for decades. Now, interestingly, because we're having these ongoing conflicts, the Utah legislature recently actually increased or added to the criminal trespass private property law that private property means the bed or the bank of a non-navigable freshwater stream or river that flows through privately owned land. So what we've done is we've strengthened that it is actually a criminal trespass violation. It's interesting, Kate, in a state like we live in here in Utah, for a lot of your listeners, they wouldn't understand that the state of Utah is about 75% publicly owned, right. 67% by the United States government, and then about 8% by the state. So 3 out of every 4 acres in the state of Utah are already accessible to the public to do whatever recreating they want to do. And then we have threats like on Kent's little 6-acre piece where they threaten eminent domain. In fact, I was in one of the meetings with him with the county commission when they were talking about using eminent domain, and I had to remind them that was in a violation of state law here in the state of Utah. So,
they didn't know.
They did not have that concept in their mind. And what's really frustrating is this continued roller coaster ride, going to court. In 2023, the Utah Supreme Court, again, with the Utah Stream Access Coalition suing a private property owner on the Upper Provo River, the court came down and declared that there is no constitutional protection for the public's right to touch privately owned stream beds underlying the state's waters. And they went on in a stinging rebuke to that group, the Stream Access Coalition. They said any further policy considerations are better directed to the legislature. These guys, in this recent publication that they sent out, are telling people to ignore it because they're defining one of our big rivers, the Provo River, as meeting the standard of navigable for tidal. And in the face of the PPL Montana versus Montana case that says explicitly those decisions have to be made on a segment by segment determination, not some Yahoo group making this their own decision making.
You know what I found? I have found in my own city that the county commissioners do so much damage and the people do not realize it. I have yet to meet some worth their salt. I have yet to meet some that weren't sort of conniving behind the scenes. And I hate saying that, but my personal experience, I haven't met any that I would say, yeah, these guys are really looking out for you. It seems like a lot happens within that county commission. That's why your local community is so important. We focus on the feds, but it's the locals. It's the local community that messes you over the most, that from what I found.
And they're the closest. Yeah, they're the closest to the people, and they literally can do the most damage based on property rights and, those that are very important to us at that local level. Great observation, Kate.
Yeah, well, it's sad. And it's something people don't realize because they live amongst us. People think, oh, well, they're not going to try to do stuff like this. They do stuff like this all the time. And I remember back when I was asking questions of county commissioners on why they were doing land grabs as supposed conservatives, all I got back was, well, that's how it's always been done, and we're not going to do anything different, instead of changing it for the better. And so we have to hold them to task. We have to hold their feet to the fire, yes?
Yes, and I'm going to ask a question now, maybe a little rhetorical, but an organization like the Utah Stream Access Coalition, that is a nonprofit organization that is out promoting lawlessness and illegal behavior. Should they be held up for? I mean, should they be held up for promoting that kind of behavior? It troubles me that they're telling their members to ignore the law. And they're sitting there as a nonprofit organization, and then they sue hardworking farmers and ranchers and people that have stream property and force them to pay tremendous legal fees to battle, this nonprofit. I think there's something wrong with that, Kate.
100%. I'm so with you on that, and this is not okay. And where does the case stand right now? They've continually sued. There is not, my frustration is now that they've lost in the courts. They were reversed in the district court. They've lost at the Supreme Court. Now they've got a publication out there that is saying we have determined that the lower Provo River is navigable. So ignore those people that are telling you that that's in violation of the law. That's what's troubling to me. There's no action against them. I'm asking that question rhetorically. Should they be able to get away with promoting lawless behavior? They should not. And this begs the question of all of those listening from coast to coast, that what's going on in your cities? Who are the groups that disguise themselves like this Utah group? Who is the group in your city doing the lawlessness? Where do we stand with all? We're going to go to a break, but where do you stand? This is a good time to really look at things in your own cities and to understand that the county commissioners probably are not going to work in your favor and work against America. All across America, over 3,000 counties. I don't see a whole lot of good things going on there with eminent land grabs. Be right back. Eminent domain. Be right back on the Kate Daly Show.
Thanks for listening to the Kate Daly Show. All opinions